pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. Public comment period. Any public comments? Move on. Minutes. Approval of the September 7th, 2023 Board of Supervisors meeting minutes. This is your workshop minutes. Did you all have a chance to review? Yep. Okay. Then I will make a motion to approve the minutes. Do I have a second? Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Business before the board. New business. Kimmel Bogrette presentation.
So Tyler's here from Kimmel, Bogrette, and he's going to present to you the work that they did looking at this building and potential meeting room spaces attached to it. So even though you're choosing to move forward with the building across the driveway, there still will be renovations here ultimately, and then if the township ever wants an option, for a meeting room attached to the building, these are a couple starting points, so. Okay.
Thanks, Tracy. So, yes, I'm Tyler Midnight from Bogrette Architects. So we just completed the study here for this township building as well as the schoolhouse, as Tracy mentioned. Can everybody see the TV here? Can you all see that as well? Okay. So basically, at Kimmel Bogrette, we have, you can go to the next slide. We have our master concept plan is a tried and true process, which starts off with the project mission statement, then moves on to the intelligence gathering, the programming phase, the solutions, and then finally the cost estimate. So basically, we worked with Tracy and Steve to learn the township's needs, talk through everything that is basically what's critical for the project. And then we went through, I guess you can go to the next slide, Tracy. So we looked at I'll just read off the mission statement here. It's a little hard to see with this, but the purpose of the project is to analyze the needs of Upper Frederick Township, determine the best location that will fit their needs, and provide a modern, cost-effective solution that recognizes the past while planning for the future needs of the township and the public. Next slide. So we looked through this building and the public works garages as well as the schoolhouse. We did a full survey, we took measurements, we analyzed the existing building code. Let's go to the next slide. We also performed a structural assessment with the help of our engineers to review the schoolhouse, determine the load-bearing needs of the assembly, the proposed assembly space, which we determined that you do need to reinforce basically the floor joists as well as some of the trusses in order for that building to be used for what you need. Next phase of the project was the programming. So working with Tracy and Steve, we looked at basically the needs of the township and how much space you have and how much space we could fit within either the existing footprint or we quickly determined that there's not enough room within the existing footprint that fits the township's long-term needs. So you can see here that the current building, I think, I don't have it written down here, but basically we needed to create a bigger public meeting space here, and then you can see here that there's also township reception offices and bookkeeping spaces. Then you can go to the next slide, and here you can see basically the typical areas that would be required for the public works as well. Go to the next slide. So So then the fourth phase is the solutions. So here you see the existing building. So just to orient us, we're standing right here in the public meeting space. We walk through these doors here. And then downstairs are the public works garages, as well as the offices and the emergency management spaces, as well as some storage. Go to the next slide. So the first option we looked at was just using the existing building footprint without doing any sort of expansion, just to basically reduce, to have a solution that is cost effective while provides a better layout of the current space you have. So here you can see that we actually put the entrance over to the right side with a ramp and then a little covered overhang where we would anticipate the township seal along this wall. So here it basically creates a lobby space with a reception, secured area for the staff, while also providing a public accessible restroom out in the lobby space, and a conference room that would be used by the public or for the basically the meeting space for executive sessions. And then you can see the different workspaces sort of in the back with a kitchenette area, township manager. And then downstairs we added a locker room, as well as renovated the existing restroom, and then basically added some walls downstairs to just create a more efficient, more useful space for what you have. The next, oh, and then,
Oh, you want me to go back?
no, it's okay. And then, so we determined based on some of our recent projects and cost data we had, we determined that the overall cost for this type of renovation would be between $482,000 roughly and $743,000. So the next option we looked at was to basically do everything we did in the previous option, with creating this secured vestibule entry here and offices in the back. But we added a larger public meeting space on the front here. So, yes.
Where's 73? How we looking at this?
Right at the bottom
Down
of
at
the
the
screen.
bottom.
73's down.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this meeting room scenario would push out that way.
Yeah, so there's a large open area out front. So, so we felt that would be the one of the cost-effective solutions to be able to create a larger public meeting space that's connected to the existing building, using as much of the existing square footage that you have, while providing a new front to the township where we would have a lot of glass and a nicer entry as you walk in. Are there any questions so far on anything here?
Is that only one floor, or is there a top floor and a bottom floor to that area, in the
So-
gray area?
Yeah, the downstairs area would be virtually the same as the previous scheme, where we add the locker room, the restrooms, and then the enclosed offices. So basically with this setup, there's two separate occupancies where the public works is downstairs. They have their own entrances downstairs, and then all the public and township needs.
So that's on slab then, there's no basement to it?
No, correct, there'll be no basement under here, so, so there'll be no need for any elevator between the two or anything, because we have two separate means to enter the space. So if we go to the next slide, you can see that the cost estimate we put together for this scheme would be roughly between $1,064,000 and $1,519,000. So then the final scheme we looked at here was to take the space and actually put it on top of the existing garages. So there's a few challenges with this, one being that we would need to provide some sort of, well, one just based on the height of the floors, we would basically lose the garage areas downstairs to put this meeting space above. So then, just the way it works with elevations, we would have a few stairs up, and then we would require a lift for handicap accessibility here to create the meeting space above. And that would have its own executive session room in the back, as well as a storage area and accessible restrooms. So this area would basically contain everything within the existing footprint, but just raise up that area back here. And then if you go to the next slide, you can see that just based on the construction, we anticipate this to be slightly more, which would be $1,556,000 or $1,998,000 on the high end. And then with this scheme, we would have to basically build new garages somewhere else where the public works garages are displaced.
Well, but it still shows that we would still be able to use, I think the idea was this would be above usable space. It just wouldn't have the same roof height below.
Correct, yeah, it would be, you wouldn't be able to use it for the existing use that you have now, but there would be usable space below. Yeah, so you can see that down there. And then the final drawing that we're showing here, so here's the existing, where it's the existing building down here, and here's your public works yard in the back. So here's the existing garage as well as covered storage and the open storage. So if we were to renovate and expand, as you can see on the next slide here, this is showing that option B, where we add the addition to the front of the building. And then with that, we added two bays towards the existing public works, one's a wash bay, one's a maintenance bay, and then two drive-through bays. Basically, speaking with Steve and Tracy, this is what would fit your expected needs now and in the future for the public works. We're currently, you do not have enough to fit all your vehicles and all the equipment you currently have. So this would be a way to manage that. So, and then if you were to proceed with construction, essentially, if we were to say we start sometime in January next year, we anticipate there to be about 3 months for civil engineering, and based on land development, if it's required, it seems like it's probably just over an acre or so. That'd be between 6 and 8 months. So then through the design and construction phases, we would be complete sometime in September 2024, with construction starting about this time next year, and then construction completing around November of 2025 with occupancy in December of 2025. So, any questions?
That picture there is not,
No.
it's just a fill-in.
Yeah, that's just one of our
Agree.
previous projects. So.
Get a deal. Get a good deal on that.
That's my old township.
Oh, yeah? Have you been to the rec center?
No, I've been up here this way for a long time,
Okay.
but that's where I grew up.
Any questions? Any questions?
No. All right.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Here you go.
Did you take a copy of the presentation for yourself? I can email it to you.
That's fine, yeah.
Okay.
Thanks.
Great.
All right.
And my
2024 budget.
and a
All right. Okay, well, it's that time of year. So what I did is you've got a kind of a brief memo in there, kind of touching on some big things. Linda's here tonight to kind of talk over numbers and answer questions as well, and Steve, so kind to come in this evening, talk about public works stuff. So just to kind of start, we can use my memo as sort of our guide for the general fund that you have in your packet. What we did with this document, we essentially kept all the recurring expenses and revenues for the most part to kind of do the basic budget. And then on sheet 3, we pulled out kind of 3 major items that we would want to talk about sort of separately. So the first one is renovations to the schoolhouse that are planned, the maintenance building / the mechanic, addition to the pole barn out back, and then road projects. So if everyone's okay, we'll kind of walk through the general fund budget generally, and if there are questions, then we can answer those, and then we can kind of dig into those 3 bigger items towards the end, if that sounds okay.
Sounds fine to me.
All right, so first talking about revenue. At this point, we are projecting 2024 revenue to be $1,423,367. Slightly more than the 2023 budget, but pretty in line with that. We do have in that budgeted amount $100,000 grant. That's the grant that we got for the schoolhouse. So we have that in the budget along with a corresponding expense. You know, we're still gonna have to decide specifically what aspect of the schoolhouse that's gonna be applied to, but that we'll do as we develop more detailed plans. A couple noteworthy things about revenue. Our interest earnings continue to remain strong, stronger than originally budgeted, so we've kept that number strong in there. And then the other thing to note, in 2023, we thought we were going to sell 2 public works pieces of equipment, but we have not received our new dump truck that's due in the next month.
It's
So-
actually not gonna be due the next month, it's actually gonna have to roll that money over to the month of February. This received an email, so it'll be February 15th of next year
To get it?
to get it, to receive it. That's how back ordered they are.
Holy cow. All right, well, there you go. So we're definitely not gonna be selling the truck in 2023 that's gonna be replacing. So,
And we're not gonna be spending, or be paying.
right, so we'll be carrying that.
Carrying that expense over.
That's in your reserve funds, it's not even in the general fund.
Right.
So at least from that standpoint, it doesn't really affect these numbers.
Yeah.
But, sorry, Steve.
I am sorry.
All right, so that's pretty much a quick overview of revenues. If there's any specific questions about the revenue page, like I said, Linda's here, I'm here, and, you can always ask us later as well. But I think we budgeted pretty conservatively again, trying to assume real estate is still gonna be on a downward trend. It's not gonna be high like it was a couple years ago, so real estate taxes aren't gonna, I think we budgeted pretty good this year. And we'll continue to kind of keep it at a lower level, expecting that for the next year.
Did you build in a cushion on it, on the budget, a percentage cushion? Like,
A percentage?
yeah, so you budgeted low, or you budgeted within reason.
Yes.
Is there any cushion in there, a percentage in case there's some, I don't want to say catastrophic or negative, but some type of issue that arises? Maybe, I don't know, a pump goes again,
Well, that would be in a different fund.
Yeah, so that would be an expense.
Mhm.
Our revenues are pretty solid because, you know, we can predict our tax revenues and that
So
sort of
these are
thing.
your fixed then? is what you-
So, yeah, these are pretty good. There's a few that can fluctuate, like the real estate tax, you know, depending on how the market does, and
Earned
depend
income.
on earned income. I mean, earned income has still been pretty strong.
Yeah.
So, you know, people seem to be doing okay, so our revenues are proportionately strong. So to your question, in the revenue side, there's not so much a buffer, we just try to kind of estimate on the lower side of what we're comfortable that we'll get.
Okay.
And you'll see here that, like under real estate tax, at the top of the sheet, 301, you know, we've got what we anticipate current, we've got a prior year, which is typically people who are late and don't pay till the next year, and then delinquent and interim. So we kind of budget some of that in as well. So we anticipate there's gonna be a certain amount of people who aren't gonna pay those, and that's factored into those numbers.
We actually budget real estate taxes at 96% of collections, so this isn't 100% of collections.
Sure.
Okay, good.
And that's been traditionally what we get, this is something in that vicinity.
Okay.
All right, any questions on revenues?
No.
All right. So, moving on to expenses. So our recurring expenses in the budget here are $1,193,787.55. And what that results in is a surplus of $229,579.45. So basically, kind of what that's telling us is that, you know, we're bringing in enough money to cover all of our recurring expenses, plus we have a little cushion there at the end to use for other things, whether that's reallocating some of that funds to different items in the budget that we want to increase, or putting it towards roads, or buildings, or whatever. So, and at the bottom of page page 3 of the budget, we do pull out 3 major items that we'll want to talk about in more detail tonight. So the first one is the renovations to the schoolhouse across the driveway. The other one, as I mentioned, is the pole building expansion and mechanic space out back, and then potential road projects for 2024. But before we get into those kind of big capital items, if you guys want to kind of look through the expenses that we have listed here, generally, we basically kind of took our 2023 numbers and increased them, 3 to 5%, depending on what it was, factored in, consultant fee increases, that sort of thing. We are looking at the Cintas uniforms. I know we had talked about that before, and then there was a contract issue, so Steve Cater looking into that, and it looks like Cintas might give us a lower price